I'd like to say good afternoon to all the brothers and sisters in social media land. We are at the front entrance of Swope Park. We're at the front entrance of Swope Park. I want to make a plea to some of the brothers and sisters in Kansas City. There is a name that I'm hearing more and more, and this young brother's name is Brandon Ellington. And he is the city councilman of Kansas City, Missouri. I do not know Brandon Ellington personally, but from what I hear, this brother has been getting some great work done in Kansas City, Missouri, as it relates to the urban core. And we also know that Brandon Ellington is connected to the mayor. If there's any brothers and sisters that are in Kansas City, Missouri, then I am hoping that maybe somebody could possibly share this video with our brother. We appreciate what he's doing, but there is something that I want to bring to his attention and the officials in Kansas City, Missouri, as it relates to the people that resides in this community, in the community that is surrounding the Swope Park area. Now, we know that in most cases, when we hear of Swope Park, we only hear of Swope Park as it relates to the few sprinkles of violence that take place. But there are a lot of good things that are happening in Swope Park as well. And then we also say, even with those brothers and sisters that have gotten themselves into different levels of crime and created havoc within the community, that, you know what, the people that are striving to live honest, wholesome lives, that go to work every day, they far excel, they far outnumber those people that are doing these things. Here's what I wanted to let this truck get out the way. I wanted to bring to the attention of our city councilman, who is connected to the mayor on this particular issue. Due to COVID-19 and the unfair treatment that we have received from our skating rink owners that do not allow us to come in and use their facilities as it relates to being able to put on specific events designed for specific things, and allow us to just be business people. And so we're coming with this right here, and I want to show our brothers and sisters something, because due to these things and all these things shutting down, being a skater of 45 years, we have a whole nother world in Kansas City, Missouri, of a world of skaters. And this is a wholesome environment. It is good workout, it's good exercise. People come together and they have a good time. But when you don't have nothing to do, or you don't have nothing that's specifically put in place for people to have a good time, then everybody know, and this is not no religious saying or nothing like that, but they say the idle mind is a devil's workshop. So if you can give people things to do with their time, then we can decrease the things that we see and hear on the news concerning many of our young people don't have anything to do. Now, due to this COVID-19 thing, we have been skating at Swope Park at the bandstand. We know that the bandstand is not a skating rink. We know that it was never meant to be a skating rink, and we know that one day soon, those things that we have been coming together collectively and enjoying ourselves on will be interrupted simply because it was not put together to facilitate skaters. However, in the front entrance of Swope Park, this right here was a skating park. This was a skating park that was probably put here back in the mid to late 70s. It was a skating rink park, and when our European brothers were skating on their skateboards and all of that, they had all kind of ramps and everything out here. But as you can see, it is a massive slab of concrete that was put together specifically for that reason. We want our brothers and sisters that know our brothers and our city officials that have the ability to affect change, that maybe they might consider having this slab of concrete put back and so that it can become a place to where the skaters in Kansas City, Missouri can be able to come and they won't have to go and use places that were not made for that. So when we're using things that are not made for that, then the authorities have the right to remove us. But if we keep getting removed and there ain't nothing being replaced, then it's going to lead us to the place to where we at now. You start talking about how do I decrease crime? How do I get the young men to stop hurting each other? Well, we're going to get them to stop doing these things the same way that our European brothers get their children. You put things together for them. You put things together for them, and then you have places that can facilitate them to where they can have something to do with their time, some place to exercise their creativity. We have many young people that are still growing up skating, learning how to skate, and so anybody that may know Brandon Ellington or anybody that might know any of the city officials, we know that this is going to be the responsibility for Parks and Recreation, but I'm not a political guy. I don't know anybody in the political arena. I do know this. I have been a business owner in Kansas City, Missouri for over 30 years, and I have been a long time roller skater of 45 years. It's something that I love to do, and there are many other people out there that represent my same trade of thought, which leads me to this next thing. Black Lives Matter. Well, you see, nobody has to say white lives matter, because we can see that white lives matter. We can see white lives matter by what the white lives do. White lives matter because they have facilitated their youth, they have facilitated themselves, and they have put things together, and they have many things to do. And Swope Park is one of the places that they have done this. We have never had anything to do outside of just hang out. But now Swope Park has soccer stadiums, it has football stadiums, it has basketball courts, it has all of these different things. And even now, as we're going to take a walk right quick so I can show you something just to make my point, because if black lives are going to matter, they're not going to be able to just matter with words. Those words and those protests, they're going to have to be coupled by a demonstration that come from somebody that has a vision for some of the things that they would like to see take place in not just Kansas City, Missouri, but in many other cities. And so we're just going to go over about 1,000 feet. We're going to go over about 1,000 feet, and then we're going to show you something. So I don't think it's a whole lot for our people to start asking for things that will help to facilitate our youth. Now, this is something that had just taken place. I don't know if they do these things under the cover of darkness, or whether they do them in secret or whatnot. But let me see if you can see this. I don't know if you can see, but I'm just going to walk out here. We have concrete slabs. We have concrete slabs that are being placed all over this front entrance of Swope Park. Now, in order for these things to get here, somebody has to talk to a city official. Some city official has to approve the work that's going to be done, and then it gets put here. So all through the park, where you see that white thing, there's another one over there. There's more. They are all over the park. There's some over there. There's another one out there. Everywhere you can see those white things, there is a slab of concrete. And that slab of concrete represents another phase of facilitation of our European brothers to give their children and to give themselves something to do. Now, this is a public park, and a public park is supposed to be a facilitator for all the people that are within the community. Now, I don't think it would be too much to ask if they can put soccer stadiums here, if they have the Starlight Theater over there, and if they can have tennis courts everywhere in the park, if they can create dog parks and nature things, we ought to be able to get them to refurbish a skating park that was already put here. It ain't like no extra work has to be done. Don't nobody have, it ain't gonna take no to get approved for no whole lot of money. And besides, if it once was a park, then it was a park for somebody. And if it was once a park for somebody, I don't see how it would be no harm for it to be a park, a skating park for nobody else. And so when you start talking about Black Lives Matter, Black lives can't matter unless it's going to be some work done that becomes fuel to start getting our brothers and sisters that are of African American descent. When we start giving ourselves something to do, when we start popping up skating parks, if we had basketball parks, if we had baseball diamonds, if we had the YMCA and community centers again, if we had different things set up to where our brothers can play their video games and have video tournaments and things like that. You're talking about our people putting down their guns, giving them something to do, showing them that they have a giftedness in their life, and making it known that life is not worthless. I wanted to come on here on behalf of the skaters, the roller skaters in Kansas City, Missouri. And even though I'm simply talking about roller skating, it is not limited to roller skating. It is talking about being fair and being balanced. And our brothers that are in politics, they have to understand these things. You have to be able to have a connection with the people that are in your community, that have eyes to see things, that if there was some work and some money and some boots put on the ground in specific areas, we could affect some changes. I know we can affect some changes because this brother, Brandon Ellington, I keep hearing about. The first time I heard about him was when we did the cleanup project on the 27th and Warren Park. When we did the cleanup project was the first time I ever heard his name. We got down there, we cleaned up that park after 35 years of overgrowth. And they got down there, the neighborhood got down there with boots on the ground, with chainsaws, with their lawn equipment, with everything. Every person in the neighborhood brought whatever they could and clean that park up. And when we got that debris and that brush and those cut down trees stacked high as we can get them, somebody said a young brother named Brandon Ellington got wind of the work that was going on, sent the crew down there, and then cleaned all of that stuff up. And that is the first time that I heard of him, but it wasn't the last time that I heard of him. I just was on 18th and Vine just last week, and then my young brother, my young king that was down there playing the music, mentioned Brandon Ellington's name again. He said, yeah, I got something coming up in a few weeks. I'm working with something, trying to get something going on with Brandon Ellington. I hear Brandon Ellington's name again. I hear Brandon Ellington's name when we start talking about the food drives and things of that nature. And so when you start hearing a person's name like that, you know that they're getting some work done. And if somebody's out there getting some work done in Kansas City, Missouri, I would definitely want to be a part of it. And if I can't be a part of it, I would definitely like to toss my vision in the hat. So on behalf of the skaters of Kansas City, Missouri, we're asking that somebody might please. There are many people. There are many people in this town. And I know some people personally that know this individual, but I don't know him personally. Maybe they'll get him. And see, I remember I was a product of Paris College of Hair Design, a small local beauty shop, a beauty school located on 57th and Prospect as a young man in 1988. Went to beauty school and then got my credentials in 1989. And I know what they're doing on 18th and Vine because I was there before it ever began. And my first business was on 18th and Vine. In 1990, I occupied a beauty shop called Impressions Hair Salon, which was located in the Lincoln building, right where we see Joey Cuts is right now. I was there when there was no businesses down there. I was there when they came through and signed the papers for the renovation. I was there when we were asked and then given the right to come back, but asked if we would be willing to relocate while they did the rehabilitation. But even after the rehabilitation there, the people people that were previously there never got the opportunity to come back. I'm aware of the work on 18th and Vine, but let's let the truth be known. 18th and Vine is still look just like it did back then. There's still not no businesses there. There is still nothing that is set there in stone to where our people can do anything other than just simply have a good time or a good party. We're commending our brothers for the work that they're doing, but we want our brothers and sisters to understand there are different levels of work that you'll never even know exist or never even be exposed to unless we can collectively start coming together with other brothers and sisters that have ideals, that have visions for the communities that they live in. And so once again, we just want to commend our young king that's out there getting that work done. We want to commend our young king that's getting that work done. But we also want our young brothers to understand that whatever it is that we can do as a means of raising our people up. And the only thing that we ever hear about Swope Park is the gun and the person that got killed and the police. But see, you don't hear anything about Swope Park when it comes to the European dog park. Our European brothers over on the other side playing soccer. We don't hear anything about the Children Mercy training camp over there and the Children Mercy field over there. We don't hear anything about that. And I wonder, why is that? We don't even hear about the good things that they got going on the news. I wonder, why is that? Is it just that people don't want you to know about these things? Is it that they don't want you a part of it? If Black Lives Matter, that means that everybody is going to have to be given a fair opportunity to a good life. And you can't just say Black Lives Matter when the black lives that's supposed to matter, their lives are not being affected by the change that's supposed to be happening. I'm 53 years old, and ever since I was a kid, we heard it every year. Vote Freedom Incorporated. Vote Freedom Incorporated. Vote Freedom Incorporated. And all throughout the years, I can begin to name the brothers that were running for these particular offices. But you know what? The condition of our community only got worse every generation after every generation. And that's why I wanted to bring that brother's name up, because this is the first time in my history since I've been a child that somebody got in there and was really doing something for the urban core and for the black people in this community. I don't knock Mayor Cleaver. Mayor Cleaver is responsible for a lot of things in Kansas City, Missouri. I don't knock Sly James. Sly James was responsible for a lot of things in Kansas City, Missouri. But none of the things seem to affect the people of Kansas City, Missouri, except the church. Now, I'm not knocking nobody. So I want to put that video on there and hope that we can get that I get our brothers in contact with this message, because it would be a wonderful thing if they could refurbish the skating park. You know what? And if the children want to act foolish, and you see, every time the children act foolish, it gives them the right to shut things down. They're over there trying to shut the man's club down because they shooting outside. The club owner ain't got anything to do with that. The business owner don't have anything to do with that. But these are the things that people use as excuses to take things away from us, when the vast majority of our people are upstanding citizens, go to work every day, provide for our houses, take care of our children. We are upstanding citizens, and every time something happens at the hand of somebody that is moving or operating in a form of ignorance, you want to take everything away from all of the people as though it is all of us. And that is no exemplification of black lives really mattering. You see, if the authorities would do the job that they would do when they're getting paid by the corporations when somebody committed crime, and prosecute them to the full extent of their law and make an example out of the next one, these things would slow down. 18th Power and Light District has security. Power and Light District has KCPD there. That's why it's never no trouble there. The Plaza has KCPD there. That's why it's never no trouble there. Westport has KCPD there. That's why it's never no trouble there. And now 18th and Vine was having trouble. But when the brothers got together and began to press the authorities, now the 18th and Vine has KCPD there, and it will limit the trouble that is there. But what do Swole Park have? When you go to Starlight Theater, you got KCPD there. When you go to all these other functions, you got some form of security. But when you start talking about coming out to the park on Sunday afternoon when the young kids is out here, you don't have no authorities. The police don't ride through. Ain't nobody here to oversee. Ain't nobody here to keep balance and keep authority. It's almost like we'll stay away in the hopes that some madness jump off, and when the madness jump off, we'll take the park away from them. We'll outlaw anybody going into the park, even though 99.9% of the people that's coming to the park are not participating into this foolishness. We need our brothers that are down there in the political arena to start standing up and putting some things in place so that our people can have something to do. We can't ride on the light rails downtown. There ain't no place for us downtown. Black lives don't matter downtown. I'm gonna end the video right there.